Welcome back to WordPress Widgets Front to Back. In this screencast, we're going to take a look at setting up our database and installing WordPress. In the last two screencasts, we reviewed exactly what we're going to be covering throughout this entire course, and we set up our database server and our web server. If you've not already done that, please review those screencasts now as they're required for what we're about to do. Now, before we do anything, let's go ahead and download WordPress. If you navigate to wordpress.org, you'll notice on the home page that you have the ability to download WordPress. At the time of this screencast, the latest WordPress version is 3.4.2. So click on the download button. And then on the download page, you have the ability to download a zip file or a .tar.gz. It doesn't really matter which one you download, but for the sake of the most popular archive type, I'm going to download the zip file. Once the download's completed, locate it in Finder. Double-click on the archive to extract WordPress. Once it's done, you'll notice that a WordPress directory has been created and the application exists here in your Downloads folder. Now, recall in the last screencast, we set up a specific directory out of which we're going to be hosting our files. If we open MAMP and then locate the Host tab, you'll notice that the disk location is in Users, your username, the Documents directory, and the www directory. So this is where WordPress needs to live. So minimize MAMP, copy all of the files from WordPress, go to your Documents directory, navigate to the www directory, and if you're using MAMP, it's likely place two files in the root directory. This is so that when you navigate to your localhost website, you see something rather than just a blank page. It's okay to delete these files, so let's do that now. Now, paste WordPress into the www directory. Once done, you should be able to navigate to localhost in your web browser. Now this will bring up a screen that says there doesn't seem to be a WordPress configuration file. At this point we can install WordPress, but in order to do that we need to have a database set up because WordPress uses a database to store all of its data, settings, and things like that. So let's pause here and set up our database. Once again, open up MAMP. On the Server tab, click on MySQL, and then you'll see a button that says Launch PHP-MyAdmin. Click that. PHP-MyAdmin is a web application that is used to create, administer, and generally manage databases on a machine. Here, we just want to create a new database. So we'll click on the Databases tab, and then we'll call this Dev WordPress Widgets, and then click on Create. You should see a success message that says Database Dev WordPress Widgets has been created. Now, return back to the WordPress tab in your browser and click on Create a Configuration File. It'll tell you that you need the database name, username, password, host, and we have all of this information that I'll walk you through as we're installing WordPress. Click on the Let's Go button. The database name is the one that we just created, so we'll type Dev WordPress Widgets. The username, because we're on local and because of the settings that were specified in MAMP in the last screencast, are root, and the password is root as well. The database host is localhost, since that's the machine on which we're hosting the actual application, and the table prefix is WP_. Now what this means is that when you create a database will consist of one or a number of different tables. In the case of WordPress, there's going to be a few tables that are created within the database, and it's going to prefix all of the tables with WP_. For purposes of this course, we're going to leave it the same. However, if you're going to run multiple installations of WordPress out of the same database, then you may want to change the prefix. That's a topic for a more advanced screencast. So for now, let's get it set up. And click on Submit. Permitting everything has gone well and you've specified your username and password correctly as well as the database name, you'll see this message that says Run the install. So let's do that now. And then it's time to provide a little bit of information in order to get set up with our WordPress install. So for the site name, we'll call it, let's call it Widgets Front to Back. The username will be admin and the password will be whatever you choose. Obviously I chose a weak one, but then again, it is in the local environment, and so it doesn't really matter what it is. The email address will be the one at which I can be contacted. And as far as privacy is concerned, again, you can leave this checked or you can uncheck it. This setting will allow Google and other search engines to index your site or to ignore your site. If you're installing this on a server that's available via the internet and you don't want Google to index the content, then you would uncheck the option. But again, we're on development, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to click on Install WordPress. Once the install is completed, you'll see the success message and you should be able to log in. So click on the login button and you'll be taken to the login screen. For the username and password, fill it out with the information that we just did in the last screen. And click on login. Permitting that you provided all of the information correctly, you should see the WordPress dashboard. It'll give you a welcome message, you'll see the name of the site and the menu of options that are available. We can go ahead and dismiss this. And now we're here at the basic WordPress dashboard. And at this point, we've successfully set up our database and we've successfully installed WordPress. In the next screencast, we're going to take a look at what's required to set up our development environment. Specifically, this includes setting up our IDE and having it know where the WordPress installation is, give us a working directory for our plugin, as well as the ability to connect and manage the database from within our IDE. So I will see you in the next screencast.